So today we start Psalm 65, and all the Psalms have a title to them. This one says to the chief musician, a psalm and song of David. So it's kind of generic in its essence. But as we get into it, you can begin to understand the sense of it or the context of it. Warren Wiersbe, who I love to go, he's one of my go-tos, and I love his commentaries. Also Kent Hughes and Derek Kidner has a couple of good books on the Psalms, and there's just many, many great resources out there. C.H. Spurgeon. Spurgeon did basically what we're doing, but he did it in writing and called it the Treasury of David. It's long expositions all the way through the Psalms, but somewhat more devotional in sense. But Warren Wiersbe wrote, this is the first of four Psalms, 65 through 68, that focus on praising the Lord for his manifold blessings in nature and for his gracious dealings with his people. He's the God of creation and the God of the covenant. And the psalm acknowledges our total dependence on the Lord to provide our spiritual and material needs. Now, in a minute, we're going to read the phrase crown the year, and that suggests the harvest festival in October, which is the first month of Israel's civil year on their religious calendar. And it really suggests, this whole psalm suggests the harvest season festivals and celebrations, which begins with the Day of Atonement, which leads to the Feast of Tabernacles, which we studied recently in John in our Sunday morning study. And it's been interesting how, at least for our church calendar, and I could not have planned it this way, but God just kind of in his providence does this. We started through the Gospel of John, and as we came into late September and early October, we started studying the Festival of Tents, okay? The Feast of Tabernacles, which the Hebrew word is Sukkot, and their Jewish word, and they still celebrate it. They actually celebrated this, I think, last week. So the Day of Atonement coming into the Feast of Tabernacles is this big, wonderful beginning of the year celebration. Now, it's beginning of the year for them. For us, it's almost the end of the year, but they would launch the year with this big harvest celebration because it was the later harvest. And they were celebrating God's provision. They're now prepared for getting ready for the winter months, and they're celebrating God's goodness through the year. And it's really a wonderful thing that this is converging with this time of year as we are getting ready to wrap up October and come into Thanksgiving and Christmas. This becomes a season of praise and celebration and the expression of gratitude and thanksgiving. And so I'm delighted to read, and I have not personally read ahead yet, but Psalm 65, 66, 67, 68, which will take us well into November. These are Psalms that focus on praise. And isn't God good now to lift our eyes from how to process enemies and diabolical wickedness around us and our problems, to now he's going to call us to praise. He's going to call us to celebration. And so, my friend, as we read this psalm and as I send you into your Tuesday, I just want to invite you to change the channel in your spirit. Enough for today in recent months has been a lot about working through, getting past, processing hardship. So let's allow God to put us on a different channel. Not that that's not wonderful. Every bit of it is the Word of God. But now God's going to reach down with his fatherly touch, and where we've been kind of looking down at our hardships and processing them spiritually, now he's going to, with his fatherly hand, take our chin and just lift us to look up and to celebrate the gospel, to celebrate his goodness. So many wonderful things happening in our lives. So many things to really, really deeply be thankful for. And I want to lay this out, and then we'll read and go. Thanks is not thanks if it is not expressed. So thanks is not just a warm feeling. Thanks may begin there. It may begin in the heart. And if it's not there, then it's not genuine, right? But it's really two things. It is a genuine heart sense of undeserving. I am the object of God's mercy. I'm the recipient of his grace. I am I'm drowning in his love and blessings. And so deeply, I'm going to let that permeate my psyche and my heart, shape my attitude, and cultivate within me a gratitude. but it must flow up and out. It must come out of me. It must result in the expression of worship, the explosion of worship that says, I love you. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I am exploding with a heart of praise and celebration. And that might come out in prayer and in privacy with the Lord. It might come out at lunchtime like this. You know, maybe in your car having coffee or lunch or whatever. It may come out while you're driving or riding a bike or taking a walk with earbuds. It may come out. It should always come out on Sunday morning when you gather together, just as we read Psalm 64, that all the people, as they come together, will glory in God's goodness. So let praise, let thanksgiving grow within you, and let it explode out of you in this month, coming up month of November, and then December, and into the new year. So with that, let's read. Looks like there's 13 verses here. I'm going to read it, and then we'll send you into your Tuesday. Praise waiteth for thee, O God, in Zion, and unto thee shall the vow be performed. O thou that hearest prayer, unto thee shall all flesh come. Iniquities prevail against me. As for our transgressions, thou shalt purge them away. Blessed is the man whom thou choosest, and causest to approach unto thee, that he may dwell in thy courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of thy house, even of thy holy temple. By terrible things in righteousness wilt thou answer us, O God of our salvation, who art the confidence of all of the earth, of all the ends of the earth, and of them that are afar off upon the sea, which by his strength setteth fast the mountains, being girded with power, which stilleth the noise of the seas, the noise of their waves, and the tumult of the people. They also that dwell in the uttermost parts are afraid at thy tokens. Thou makest the outgoings of the morning and evening to rejoice. Thou visitest the earth and waterest it. Thou greatly enrichest it with the river of God, which is full of water. Thou preparest them corn when thou hast so provided for it. Thou waterest the ridges thereof abundantly. Thou settlest the furrows thereof. Thou makest it soft with showers. Thou blessest the springing thereof. Thou crownest the year with thy goodness, and thy paths drop fatness. They drop upon the pastures of the wilderness, and the little hills rejoice on every side. Pastures are clothed with flocks. The valleys also are covered over with corn. They shout for joy. They also sing. Now, as I'm reading that, I'm thinking, what must you be thinking? Because the verbiage here is rather unfamiliar. It really is a psalm of praise of God's abundant care for his people through his provision of natural resources and his provision of seasons and harvests. And, today we don't get the sense of growing grain and what a field of grain looks like and sounds like. We don't get the sense of pastures and flocks and fields because we go to Stop and Shop and we go to Kroger. We go buy our meats, we go buy our breads, and it's neatly packaged in cellophane wrappers, and we go buy our cereals, and it's neatly packaged with sugar and treats and marshmallows. And I mean, it's just a whole different experience today than it was in in ancient times, I should say. And so this is going to be fun, because if you've ever been to Israel, then this psalm just jumps to life. I mean, oh my goodness, it makes you want to cry, because when you visit this land, you see that these people who lived on this land at this time really had a very organic and extreme dependence on God in his provision seasonally. It was all about water. It was all about fields. It was all about crops and herds and flocks. And that was one of the ways they saw God come through for them in big, big ways. So we're going to leave it there. Thanks for joining me for today. Happy Tuesday. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Meditate on this. Think about praise welling up during this coming season of Thanksgiving and celebration during the holidays. Happy Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.